morning, friends. It is finally not 10 zillion degrees here in North Carolina, hence why I'm wearing a sweater. And for that reason, I am going to bring you today a fall-inspired lasagna recipe. And you know, much like anything fall-themed, the first step is to add pumpkin. And that's exactly what I did. I just had like a vision for this lasagna with a pumpkin sauce, but I didn't want to do a pumpkin cream sauce, so I quite literally just added a can of pumpkin to tomato sauce, and it was so good, and so I had to share. Oh, also, Sam and I cooked together to make this, so you will see both of us, Sam's hands and my hands, and the dogs also in this video. So I hope you enjoy it. The first thing that we did to get started was caramelized some onions. And for that, we sliced up 2 onions and a shallot, just because we had the shallot. There's no real significance to it. It's just a different kind of onion. And we sauteed that in about 3 tablespoons of butter and some salt. And you want to just basically cook them until they're the desired caramelizedness that you would like. For us, it took, I want to say, like 30 minutes of stirring and then leaving it, and then stirring and then leaving it. So it is a little bit of a process, but it was so worth it. And then I took, I thought I was going to use both of these zucchinis, but as you can see, they're ginormous. So I ended up only using one, but I just went ahead and shredded that up on our box grater over a kitchen towel so I can then squeeze out the liquid so it doesn't make the lasagna too watery. And to do that, again, I just laid it out on a dish towel and then I salted it to help draw out that moisture. And I let it sit there for about 5 minutes. Then after about 5 minutes and a couple Mabel kisses later, the zucchini should be ready to squeeze. Does anybody else's dogs love vegetables, like all vegetables? Mabel, I'm convinced actually now that she will just eat anything and love it. I swear, it's the funniest thing. She was really loving that zucchini. So to squeeze the water out of the zucchini, I just picked up the towel and spun it and then squeezed it. Pretty self-explanatory there. Okay, just set that aside. Now onto the sauce. As you can see, I had like a half a jar of that sauce, half a jar of this sauce, and then a whole can of pumpkin that my lovely neighbor dropped off for me because there's no pumpkin anywhere in any of our stores right now. I don't know if everybody bought it up or maybe it just hasn't come yet, but yes, thank you, lovely neighbor. This is the same pan that we caramelized the onions in, so we have that added extra flavor too. Basically what we're doing here is just dumping everything in and heating it through. Nothing really needs to be cooked because, again, this is lasagna, so we're going to be putting it all into the oven. I also ended up adding salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and some red pepper flakes, but obviously it depends on what kind of sauce you use to start with. I would just taste it and season it to your preference. Now on to the cheese portion. I just took 2 of the smaller containers of ricotta cheese. We use whole milk ricotta, not part skim, because yum. So just dump 2 of those into a bowl. I added salt and pepper, and then I just whisked it up because for some reason it makes it way easier to spread once it's gotten like broken up and mixed around a little bit. That's true.
Some good wrist action in there. Leave that in the video.
I am gonna leave that in the video. Okay, now we are on to assembly. So I started by drizzling some olive oil in the bottom of the pan just to ensure that it wouldn't stick at all. And then I just dolloped some of the sauce on top and spread it around evenly. Again, this is kind of self-explanatory. I don't know if everybody does this, but we ended up, I think it's because of the shape of our pan, because it's not squared edges. We ended up having to break up a bunch of noodles to make a perfect fit. But it was so worth it. We're doing a layer of zucchini, that shredded drained zucchini. Do about half of the zucchini here. Also, you will notice that we are not cooking the noodles before we add them to the lasagna, and these are not the no cook or whatever noodles. They're not the ones that are meant to go in. These are just regular lasagna noodles, and it works perfectly. I have always done it like this for at least a few years now because it's so much easier and it works perfectly fine. I don't know why anybody would suggest boiling them. No boil, that's what they're called. No boil noodles. Especially when you're using vegetables instead of, like, this is a vegetarian lasagna, but if you were to add meat to the sauce but still use veggies, because vegetables have so much water in them, in the oven it like bakes all together and the noodles come out perfectly. So just something to note. And then now we're going to do a layer of the ricotta. And then we did a layer of caramelized onions after that. I'm just gonna speed through this next part here since watching somebody assemble a lasagna can be a little bit boring, maybe? I don't know. So caramelized onions, then more sauce, and then we ended up adding a layer of spinach because I had originally wanted to put spinach in the sauce, but I forgot. So we just added a layer and it actually worked perfectly. It wilted in the oven. I don't know if everybody does this, but this is just how I've always made lasagna. I always do the top layer of sauce, noodles, sauce, and then cheese. This time we had a ball of mozzarella, so that's just what we used. We also ended up adding, there was a little bit extra of the ricotta mixture, so we just did some spots of that, some Parmesan cheese, and then a drizzle of olive oil. And then we put it into the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes, and that was perfect. And then we let it sit for like 10-15 minutes before cutting into it, and it was amazing. So yeah, if you are feeling inspired to make a cozy fall meal and you love pumpkin and vegetarian lasagna, I hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.